Tama's second arc was the exact unhinged insanity you would expect if you were coming into Gintama from the viral social media posts. This arc has everything from some tiny magic school bus shenanigans, only instead of a human body it's a robot, to Gintoki duking it out over cleaning solutions with his clone, all the way to fighting the king of a computer virus who turns into a vampire with a god complex, wielding a beam with the power to turn your body into a 2D pixel art sprite. No, I didn't make that up. Even beyond that, this arc covers some self-reflection of Gintoki, a deeper understanding of Tama, and how she views our main character. I'm Kazu Trash, and welcome to my review of the TAMA Quest arc. Almost right off the bat, we jump into the bananas with Tama first turning into a crude 3D model, and not long after into a straight up sprite, summoning NES level speech bubbles reminiscent of an old Dragon Quest game. I gotta say, my buddies picked like the perfect arc to watch on this reaction. My one friend Mari was high as shit, so he was beyond confused. And Octo?
Bro, what is this show even about? Well, I still don't know what this show's about. What the fuck is Gintama about, bro?
Well, I think he was too. I can't blame him though. I gotta say, this part of the story is probably like the most out there episodes we've seen so far. Sodachi woke up to write this arc and he chose utter chaos. And goddamn did he make it work. But before that, let's delve into that question from Octo. What is Gintama about? Well, my commenter David would provide a great answer to this question, ending his comments with whatever it wants to be. Perfect! I honestly should have been able to come up with that on the spot, but you know me and thinking on the spot, I can't. Which is a rather terrible trait to have if you're a streamer, like me. But, oh well. Sunrise went crazy as well with the visuals and OST, with them creating some fantastic representation of the games they were parodying, like the little JRPG map and the sprites to match, some fun Easter eggs when Gin was ranting about the credits, displaying Sodachi's name as well as some of the anime staff, and some fantastic wizardry text adventure visuals. By the way, let's just assume I knew what wizardry was before I started this video and reaction. Okay. Also, because the Gintama staff are just that cool, they remade a bunch of the OSTs in what I believe is chiptune? Well, anyway, the 8-bit style you'd often hear in like Dragon Quest and stuff, which all sound immaculate. Let me play one for you now. Isn't that good? Oh. By the way, I'm just imagining hearing it right now because no headphones. You can see what that looks like on the outtakes when I post that afterward. By the way, I always post the outtakes if there are any on the second channel. Check it out, Kazu2. Before entering Tama, it's hammered in that this virus is definitely serious and needs to be dealt with right now or she'll revert back to being a soulless husk, a regular old hump of metal. Basically, she'll lose Fuyo's soul. This sets the groundwork that even though this arc is mostly comedic insanity, there's still that risk factor involved. The tapir could kill Tama. Also, this Gintoki fake-out death was insane. Gengai did not need to do this. Let's get a warning next time, yeah? The way the blood splattered all over Kagura and Jibachi's face, it was reminiscent of The Boys. It was just genuinely scary. If you've seen The Boys, you know what I'm talking about with A-Train. Yeah. Inside Tama is where stuff really gets amped up to 11 though, and I don't just mean the chaos that is the Lucasite Kingdom. Well, that is part of it, of course. I'm going to take a quote from my commenter Abraham from the reaction. It explores Gintoki's character in a unique way, not by having him explain something or by having a flashback, but by having a reflection of how someone that cares about him sees him. Everything inside Tama is based on her memories and thoughts, so obviously her main antivirus, the king, is based on the man who has protected her the most, Gintoki. It's very interesting how even though he hides his feelings and insecurities to the people that care about him, like Tama, she seems to have a good read on him since the king has the same behaviors as him. So by analyzing how the king acts and how he thinks and what Tama thinks of him, we can get more information about Gintoki. Abraham, my man, I couldn't have said it better myself. I'm glad everyone in this community is like way smarter than I am, so I can rely on you guys to articulate my thoughts in the reaction so I can put that in the review, because otherwise this would be a mess without any direction. Anyway, a man worthy of protecting herself inside and out, a reflection of the strongest person I know, as quoted from Tama. She manages to dissect his inner machinations spot on to the point where the king and Gintoki are each direct foils of each other, endlessly attempting to one-up the other. Also, with the added quote of, "Isn't he just like you?" He has difficulty expressing himself, he's antagonistic, he's all based on you, as stated by Tama. She goes on to say with her constant observation of Gin to collect data, that he has evolved into something more human than she ever was, which is why she couldn't stand by and watch him die alone. After creating and getting to know this new Gintoki, would she eventually call him a friend worth saving as well? At least try to release him from this place. Speaking of reflections, according to David's earlier comment, this arc begins the phase where Gintoki starts to reflect on different parts of himself, so I'll definitely keep that in mind moving forward. Later on in Tapir's castle, we see the Archfiend disguised as Tama, thus receiving her voice, and I have to say, oh my god, is that weird hearing Tama do an evil villain laugh. Like, that should not be coming out of this robot's mouth. What is going on? But I can't lie, I love it. It's very cute. Not only the voice, but we get some priceless, absolutely priceless facial expressions out of her when the Archfiend is disguised as her, like this one here. Later, as the king was about to disregard his own life and trudge on alone, would Gintoki imbue some life lessons into himself. As far as Tama's concerned, you're no copy or substitute. You're someone who's always been there for her, a precious, irreplaceable friend. If you truly care about Tama, never call yourself a substitute again. This little conversation leads us into the final boss with Tapir's evolved form, who had a surplus of overwhelming strength, even for the two of them. Other Gin had a plan though, leading us into straight up some of the coolest frames I've seen in a while with this awesome fist bump. I feel like I'm saying that like every arc, but I guess that means that the arcs just keep on one-upping themselves. This segues into the king sacrificing himself for Tama while Gin deals the final blow. The arc ends with Gintoki restating his belief that the king has to live for his friends, and that they're going to do exactly what they just did with Tama for him, with the help of Gingai's extra tiny hammer. Your life is no longer yours to throw away. You're more than someone who protects Tama. All the protecting you've done has led to people who will protect you in return. Perhaps a bit of introspection from Gintoki. A lesson he's learned about himself, whether that be with the help of this arc or just throughout his time at the Oddjobs. Gintoki's goodwill has in turn reflected that love back to himself off of everyone around him. Our noble samurai shines a brilliant light on the Kabuki district, and in return that love and protection is directed right back at him. This arc was an amazing series of jokes, many of which landed hilariously. And that honestly should mean even more coming from someone who's never played a Dragon Quest game in my life, never played a wizardry game in my life. I've never played like any of the things they're parodying, but goddamn did they still make it work. Hella good, hella well, I guess. It also gives us some of the most... I'll let Octo take this one.
What the fuck is Gintama about, bro?
Moments so far, all the while staying grounded in what is a true introspective look into how Gintoki sees himself, as well as others, but obviously more so how Tama, our resident robot, views our favorite main character. Exploring Tama even deeper. Literally. And you want to know the best part? Sorachi used a total of 0. Count that, 0. Gross out humor jokes throughout the entire run. And I have to say, that is fantastic. All in all, wonderful arc, an absolutely wonderfully enjoyable arc, and I think that is getting a 9.5, baby! We going at 9.5 for Tama's arc. Well, Tama's second arc. Honestly, Tama's arc is 2 for 2 for being 9 and above so far. Oh, Tama's such a good character. I love her. So I think as a proper ranking list should go for a series like this, I'm going to start actually showing you which place these arcs are getting ranked at. By the way, that's landing it at number 4. All right, everyone, with all that being said, like this video if you like it, dislike it if you disliked it, comment below any thoughts you may have, and don't forget to stay trash.